Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Courtney and this is Creative on the Cheap. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 trash to treasure spring DIYs that focus on the spring themes of growth, fun colors, and yes, a little bit of cleaning. So stay tuned. For this first DIY, I'm using this piece that I got from Goodwill. It was in a pile. It was like a $1 clearance thing. And so 2 of the little pieces of this are already being used for a DIY you'll see later in the week. So I cut that piece off. And then I just wanted this top piece that says new shoes currently. And I'm going to use this to make my sign. I snipped off as much of the black ribbon that I could, and then I went through and around the edge there, it was kind of a black glittered border, so I just did my Goo Gone trick on that. And now I'm taking some Waverly white chalk paint, and I'm going to end up painting 2 coats on the sign. While the sign dries, I'm going to go ahead and paint my 6 letters that will spell out the word spring. I have had these letters for a long time. I got them in a big pack from Hobby Lobby. They always have them in their unfinished wood section, so you can definitely find them there if you would like to. The pack, I believe, was 96 letters for $2.99, and then if you catch it on a half off week, it makes it a really good bargain. So like I said, these letters are all going to be 6 different colors. The pink, the S in pink, is going to be the Waverly Ballet Slipper. The P will be DecoArt Baby Blue. The R is Apple Barrel Sunny Day. The I is Waverly Lagoon. The N is Waverly Lavendar. And the G is DecoArt Sweet Mint. So those are the colors that I chose. I will write them down in the description box in case you want to use some similar colors when you make a sign. So now I'm going to take my letters and go ahead and kind of arrange them on the sign how I think I want them to go, and you know how that goes. I messed with this for quite a while, but I also knew that I wanted to add a little fabric pendant. Yeah, little faux pas there. I go back and paint that up, but that's what impatience will do, folks, if you put stuff down when it's not dry. I'm going to go ahead and take some fabric that I have in my stash. I used it last year for Easter, and all of the fabric came from Hobby Lobby, and it's one of those where they're always in stock, like you can find it all the time. And I'm going to cut some little triangles so that I can make a little pennant banner to add to my sign. Now before I attach anything to the front of my sign, I want to go ahead and get my hanger. So I take a piece of twine that I've put a piece of tape on and basically pull it through the hole and make sure it's even. Then I take a wooden bead and I feed it through both pieces of the twine, and then I pull the bead all the way down. So this is what it looks like at this point. Then I'm going to take another wooden bead and feed it through both pieces of the twine. And then once that bead has been fed through, I'm going to take one of the pieces of twine and feed it through the front hole of the sign. And what that will do is once I feed it through like this, I'll flip my sign over and I will tie a knot with the other piece of twine. And that will just make this a seamless hanger. I won't have knots anywhere that I don't want them. And it keeps it just looking neat in my opinion. Yes, I forgot to paint the back, so there's that, but that's okay. Then once I've tied this knot, I do end up going back and kind of shoving that knot in the hole. And I'm just gonna leave these beads a natural color, unfinished. I'm not gonna paint them. I will link them down below. I do believe these were the, I wanna say they were the 18mm beads. I'll have to double check that, but I'll link them down below. I always get them on Amazon. So now that my hanger's on there, I'm ready to start attaching my pieces to the sign. Now, as far as the pennant bander, I spared you guys having to watch me mess with that. I went back and forth about how I wanted to do it, if I wanted to attach it to twine and have twine hanging on there. I just didn't like the extra twine on the actual sign. So this is how I ultimately decided to do it. And then all I'm gonna do to attach this is use some hot glue, and I'm simply just going to hot glue down my letters as well as just the top part of the pennant banners to my sign. And here's another look at it, all finished and ready to be hung up. Now let's get into the second DIY. the next DIY, I will be using the sign that I picked up at Goodwill. Now, originally, I got this sign and it said, first I drink the coffee, then I do the things. I lost the footage of me painting it, but all I did was paint the background with a couple coats of the plaster Waverly chalk paint, and then I just brushed that same plaster all over the wooden frame, and that's where I'm at when you're looking at this. I have this wooden home sign that was left over from the Surebonder box challenge that I did a while back. And then I'm going to end up using some burlap ribbon and some reindeer moss. Taking my glue gun, I am just going to start layering this reindeer moss onto these letters. And I don't mind this so much because it's kind of therapeutic if you think about it, because the more you layer, the more you have to trim, and it really is like trimming a bonsai tree. I mean, you gotta channel the inner Mr. Miyagi. I think I say that all the time when I do projects like this, but I don't mind it. So this is how I'm choosing to attach it. Now, I will say reindeer moss versus floral moss. This is a little bit longer and a little bit more difficult to work with versus the floral that I find is not as, the pieces aren't as long and it's not as unruly. So you could go either way, but I personally like this look better. I thought it was more earthy, and that's why I chose the reindeer moss. To seal this, I'm just going to use some Tres Aimé hairspray. I'm not going to sing the jingle because last time I did that, y'all said it got stuck in your head, so I'll just talk about it and it'll probably still get stuck in your head. So I'm just going to douse it really good with hairspray, and that way it'll keep the reindeer moss from falling off. And now I'm ready to go ahead and take a piece of burlap ribbon. I'm just going to hot glue this down to the center of my piece of art here, frame, I don't know what you want to call this, art, whatever it is called, I don't know. And once that's down, then the last step will be just to hot glue my home to the top of the ribbon, and then this cute little sign is all finished. Here's my sign all completed, and I've already decided this is going to go in my guest room. Now let's get into the last DIY. For my last trash to treasure spring DIY, I'm going to be using this little post basket that I also found at Goodwill for a more spring cleaning themed DIY. So what I decided to do was I was going to paint the little post sign. Now I took some wax paper because after looking at how they had the sign tied on, it was going to be a serious pain to untie it and retie it. So I just decided I was going to put the wax paper underneath it, paint it white. Well, guess what? Then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. So eventually I ended up cutting it off and doing something totally different as far as applying it back to the basket. But for now, that's why I'm doing this weird method of painting the sign, because I thought I wanted to leave it tied how it is. And here is where I decided that I just wanted to cut this sign off. So that's what I did. I just cut the little pieces of twine, pulled it loose, and then I was ready to start working on the little letters that I wanted to use for this little white sign. Now, you're gonna recognize these letters. They're like the letters that never end. They just keep on coming, and here they are again. These letters from Hobby Lobby. I will forever be stuck with this font of letter, but that's okay. Now, instead of painting the black, I'm going to be using one of my Everblend Arteza art markers. I love using these when I just need to cover a piece of wood all the way. They do bleed a little bit, like I wouldn't write with them on a piece of wood, but as far as this, where I am just going over the front and the sides, it works perfectly. It's super fast. I don't have any issues. I will link down below the ones that I have. I have a huge set from them, and I love using them for kind of full coverage on wood. Then once I've colored these in, I'm simply just going to hot glue these back to my little white sign, and then hot glue that back to the basket, and this project is DONE done. The last trash to treasure is complete. This will be hanging next to my dryer, so I have a place to put that pesky lint that you have to clean out every single time you do laundry. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I would love for you to stick around by hitting that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any of my future DIYs. Don't forget you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for a bunch of behind-the-scenes information. And now some DIY shout-outs are coming your way. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Sky I have ever seen, the most colorful one like a dream. You wake me up with a new white smile, and I know I'm truly alive. I wanna save every moment now. Hold tight, my love, we got this one right. And if they ask us where we've been hiding, we'll just shake our heads. And when no one is listening, I confess, I'll let you in on everything, even the fact that don't scare you too